Alright, now let me say this. For a filler episode, it wasn't that bad, but it was kind of disappointing. Now, is it me, or would you rather have seen the explosive style user Gari's backstory than Pakura's? It's a filler, so you really can't expect much, but at least it's a war-related filler. They're not going into like flashback. There was some cool fight sequences, like when Pakura used her fireball to make it like a big ass like scorch circle, and she burned a whole bunch of trees and stuff. That was awesome. And the guy, I forgot his name, the one who fought Gari when he brought up the wall and put the paper bombs on there, and it was just some good animation. It sucks that some filler episodes look better than some Canon episodes, animation wise anyway. But the highlight for me was the short fight between Gari and, I can't think of it, the captain guy. If you've seen the episode, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't watch this episode, I wouldn't blame you, but it's pretty good as far as fillers go, I guess. It's not the worst filler, and it's definitely not the best. But I would have rather seen, the swordsman fight. Like, if they go back to Canon next week, I'm gonna be kind of disappointed, because I've heard that for the next 3 weeks it's going to be filler, and if that is the case, I would prefer to see some more swordsman fights, or at least a backstory of the explosive style user, because he's awesome. But I just think it's kind of, even if it is a filler, it's kind of I think irrelevant to get backstory from a character that's going to be irrelevant in the very next episode. But hopefully, if there are more fillers after this episode, I hope we get to see Kakashi and some of the other Shinobi take on the swordsman, or we could have at least got a backstory of one of the swordsmen. Not some random characters. I mean, Pakura's character is awesome. I like her jutsu and everything, but I don't think she needed an episode. It's really likely that we won't hear about her again, or Maki. So I think they should have made, gave this episode to someone more relevant, at least a swordsman, But I guess it was kind of sad, it didn't really make me care how Naruto, how the Naruto series usually does, because we were just like, these characters were just thrown at us this episode. It's like we've never really heard about them before. I mean, we've seen Pakura use her jutsu before, but not for a long time, and it just didn't really make me care as much. But it was sad seeing Maki go up against her former sensei, and seeing her sensei, fueled by this revenge, and she's like, no, I'm not being controlled, I want to do this, I want to destroy the mist. But I really like the animation in this. Her jutsu is awesome. I think I like the explosive style user, Gari. I think I like his explosive style a little bit more than the scorch style, and he's cocky. I really like that about him. He's like, he doesn't give a damn, and I found it funny that he was talking shit to the captain dude, and he just got owned. Like, if you've seen the episode, there was two random shinobi who threw kunai at him, at the explosive style user, and he did something with his hands and blasted it back at him. Is it me, or did those shinobi get owned by the slowest kunais ever? I mean, I could have dodged that. I mean, like, what the hell? I mean, they clearly saw it coming, but they was just like, leave it to a nameless shinobi to get killed by a kunai. But speaking of kunais, Pakura got a fuck ton of kunais thrown into her. I mean, that's really, you really don't see many Naruto characters, being killed by kunai. Not main ones anyway. I don't think we've seen any main character be killed by kunais. I mean, Zetsus and random shinobi, that seems to be their favorite death, pretty much. But to see a powerful shinobi taken down by kunai knives like that, I mean, given it was a sneak attack and it was ambush, I mean, she should have been on her toes, since he was from a different village, and it was, I'm not sure if it was the time of war at that time, but there was fighting going on at that time, so she should have been on her toes more. So I mean, I'm not blaming her, because it was like a complete, it was a bitch move, pretty much, because I don't respect anyone who waits for somebody to walk by, turn their head, and stab them in the back. But she's a shinobi. She should have been more prepared than that. But this filler was a little bit disappointing, but it was awesome, and in other ways, like the animation and the jutsus and the explosive style user. I think that guy is awesome. Now it'll be really disappointing if next week we go back to canon and we don't get any more, of the fight between the swordsman and Kakashi and his team. I've heard that we're gonna have another 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks of filler episodes, but you know it wasn't really a reliable source, I'd say, because it just came from just a random comment. But I mean, it may be true. They may have gotten it from somewhere, legit. But I just want one more filler episode, just one good fight, and that's all I'm asking for. Because if we go back to canon, leaving off from a character that pretty much is irrelevant, because I can just about guarantee you that we won't see Maki ever again, pretty much. And for them to, I'm not gonna say waste a slot, but they have they had a perfect opportunity to give the fans what they asked for, because a lot of people, since the manga came out, wanted to see the fight between Kakashi and the swordsman. And if they, use that slot for some irrelevant stuff, I'm not sure how I feel about that. But yeah, that's why I say it's a disappointment. It wasn't a bad episode, but people were just expecting something else. The backstory could have been given to a different character. No, I'm not hating. I like her character, but I think she should have just stayed on the battlefield fighting, and they should have gave the backstory to one of the swordsmen. But tell me what you guys think. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Was it a disappointment to you? I'll say it's more of a letdown than disappointment, because I mean it was fast paced. It was, it had some nice flashbacks, and I mean the jutsus were awesome. The fights were awesome. That's really all you can ask for in a Naruto episode. But just the content and the characters were just not what we wanted and what we expected. So I say it's more of a letdown than anything. But yeah, tell me what you guys think about it. I hope you enjoyed this review. This has been JB the Chi, and I'm out.